The trial of the century has started. Sean P Diddy Combs had his first day in court today, and here's everything you need to know. In September of 2024, Combs was arrested in New York City and he was indicted on these charges. 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 1 count of sex trafficking, and 1 count of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, he pled not guilty to all of those. And then in April, he was also indicted with an additional count of sex trafficking and 1 additional count of transportation to engage in prostitution. And he once again pled not guilty. So here's the accusations from the prosecution. They are alleging that between 2004 and 2024, that he created a criminal enterprise using his business empire where he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Prosecutors also claim that he coerced at least 3 women to engage in sex acts with him and at times with male prostitutes during occasions known, of course, as the now famous freak-offs. During this, the women were allegedly drugged and forced to engage in sex for days. Authorities believe he recorded a lot of these and that he controlled his victims by either promising them career or money, etc., or threatening them with violence. I think by now everyone has seen the surveillance footage from the hotel room from 2016 when Diddy was attacking his then girlfriend, Cassie. She actually filed a lawsuit against him in 2023 and they settled the very next day. After that, a string of people came forward to also accuse Diddy. It is all civil, so it will not be presented in court. However, he now has dozens of people suing him. Combs' children arrived in court today in a black van. They all got out and it looked like the daughters all started holding hands as they were walking in. Combs has been in federal prison now for 8 months, and when he went into the courtroom, he actually greeted every member of his family with a big hug. He then sat down with his attorneys. He was wearing a beige sweater with like a white collared shirt underneath and khaki pants, and after he sat down, he turned around and blew kisses to his mother and his children. Jury selection was last week, and they decided on 12 jurors. So there's 8 men and 4 women. They also have 6 alternates that include 4 men and 2 women. Prosecutor Emily Johnson started off with opening statements and told a horrific story about Cassie and Diddy. He said that when Cassie got a new boyfriend, he forced one of his employees into an SUV to take him to this new man's house. And this is what she said. When he finally found her, he beat her brutally, kicking her in the back and flinging her around like a rag doll. He had to make sure he had control over Cassie once again. So he threatened her and said if she defies him again, he will release video of her having sex with male escorts. Souvenirs of the most humiliating nights of her life. This is just the tip of the iceberg in 20 years of Combs using his inner circle to cover up crime after crime. She said Diddy often referred to himself as the king and wanted all of his employees to cater to him. He used his business to manipulate women, forced them to have sex with male prostitutes while he watched. She said Cassie's life and safety depended on keeping Diddy happy and that she participated in her first freak-off because she loved him, but also because if she didn't, the consequences would have been severe. The prosecutors had to warn the jury that during this trial, they're going to be hearing some extremely disturbing information, including all about these freak-offs, which they referred to as days-long drug-fueled orgies allegedly orchestrated by Combs. As for the videotape of Cassie being beaten, the prosecution alleges that Diddy actually handed the security guard at the hotel a brown paper bag that had $100,000 in it to keep it quiet. Then they got into details of people besides Cassie. They started talking about who they're referring to as Jane. They said that she was a single mother and she met Diddy in 2020. He forced her to have sex with male escorts, made her take drugs, and did horrific things with her. Then they talked about someone they're calling Mia, who is Diddy's personal assistant for years. She said that she's just coming to terms with how he forced himself on her sexually, that they had to work extremely crazy hours, and they were forced to keep everything a secret and not reveal anything. The defense was up next with their opening statements and said Combs' life is about real-life relationships. You will hear why people stayed around him and why it matters. He gave people opportunity and chances. They didn't always like what he did or how he behaved, but they truly loved him, and by being with him, they were part of something special. The only people who knew about a racketeering enterprise are the prosecutors. This case is about Sean Combs' private personal sex life. The government has no place in his private bedrooms. They say it is not about his private sex life, but the evidence will show that it is. Defense says that they're not going to fight the allegations of domestic violence or the use of baby oil during sex, but they said none of this adds up to a federal crime. They went on to say that Combs is not proud of that, but he will own that. He has a bad temper, and sometimes he's so angry and jealous that he acts out of control. We will not shy away from the things he did, but we will not own the things he did not do. He is physical. He's a drug user. You may know of his love of baby oil. Is that a federal crime? No. Just a reminder that when they raided his home, they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Defense closed out the opening statements by saying that all these women, Cassie, Jane, Mia, they all did things willingly with P. Diddy and that they came out with these accusations for money. The first witness that was called to the stand was the LAPD officer that was on duty when Diddy was beating Cassie at the hotel. He said he was contacted because of a woman in distress and he arrived recognizing Combs, but that he didn't recognize Cassie. He testified that she was scared and said that she was in the corner, hood on, covered up. I couldn't see her face. She was pretty much in the corner on the floor with a destroyed flower vase. He said that Combs told him they were just arguing and he saw Cassie trying to get up to go get her phone and leave. Diddy interjected and told her she wasn't leaving. So the officer says he stood in the doorway until Cassie left, and that's when allegedly Diddy gave him a brown paper bag with $100,000 in it and told him not to tell anyone. He said that Diddy actually tried to take all of the officers' phones because he thought they were trying to record him. They tried to de-escalate the situation. One of them got upset and pushed Diddy up against the wall, but they all did get their phones back. So now this LAPD officer was also hotel security, so they played the video for him, and he actually said that he did take a few recordings of his own just to show his wife. There was 2 videos that he showed. One was of Cassie and one was of Diddy. Prosecution also asked him if he considered this bag of money a bribe, and he said absolutely. When asked why he didn't contact police, he said because Cassie just wanted to leave. They de-escalated the situation, so they just dealt with it in the hotel. The next witness called to the stand was a man named Daniel Phillip, who said that he had a gig in 2012 or 2013 and that he was paid by Cassie. He said that he ended up going to the home and they gave him thousands of dollars to have sex with Cassie while Diddy pleasured himself while watching. He gave a lot of examples about things that happened when he was with these two. He also said that Diddy took a picture of his driver's license and said it was just for insurance, which he said he took as a complete threat. He said one time it looked like Cassie might have been on drugs or something and she was completely passed out. He said that Diddy would direct all of these sex acts, telling them what to do, how to do it, even role playing. He said that one time when he was there, he heard Diddy tell Cassie to come see him and she told him in a minute. He threw a liquor bottle across the room, went in and grabbed her by the hair, and she was screaming as he drug her into a bedroom. And he says that he allegedly heard Diddy slapping her. He was asked if he recalls any other times he remembers something like this happening, and he said that they were at a hotel one time and he could hear her yelling, I'm sorry, while she was being slapped and slammed around the room. He said when he looked around the corner, he saw Diddy coming out without clothes on, and soon after, Cassie came running out, climbed onto his lap and was crying, saying she was okay, and he said he didn't understand why she would ever have stayed with someone who beat her the way he did. Court adjourned just before 5 p.m., so Daniel Phillip's going to be cross-examined tomorrow. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that follow button because I'm going to try and do a recap each day of whatever took place in Diddy's trial.